Hi guys! Today is Sunday, October 25th, and welcome to episode 40 of Knits and Stuff. My name is Alicia, and today I'll be talking about works in progress, pretty things, local delights, and wibbly wobbly timey-wimey. But first, welcome to those of you that are new, and for those of you that are returning, thanks for coming back. There's a group on Ravelry. If you haven't joined yet, it's called Knits and Stuff Podcast, and I'll put a link in the show notes, which will be at knitsandstuff.wordpress.com. So let's get started. Works in progress. I have just a little bit of knitting today to talk about. The first project that I've made some progress on is in one of my silver shed bags. It is the Toe Up Sock with a Difference by Wendy D. Johnson, and this is what it looks like so far. I made about this much progress since the last time I showed it, and I'm knitting this out of Mustache yarn in the colorway Dark Side of the Moon, and it's on US 1s, 2.25 millimeters, high. And yeah, it is going to be a true afterthought heel because I forgot to mark where the heel was going to be, and I was probably going to do a Fish Lips Kiss heel originally, but I just kept knitting, and then all of a sudden I was beyond where the heel would go. So it's going to be an afterthought heel, but and that'll be my first one, so we'll see how that goes. But that is my sock, and that's the yarn. Sorry about the lighting today, it's a little bit later in the morning or in the day, and so we've got some afternoon light on, but that's what the yarn looks like. This is just the first sock, so I still have a whole nother one to knit afterwards, but that is the first project. And then the other thing that I've been working on are the gradient mitts, and these are some fingerless gloves by Krista McCurdy, and I finished the first one. So this is the first gradient mitt. It's a little bit hard to see the darker colors but I actually messed up quite a bit and I accidentally used the darkest color in the second to light, this one on this stripe, and I was supposed to use the second to darkest color, and I mixed those two up when they were in my yarn bag. But this is a first mitt, and it's a little bit low. I think if I have some extra yarn, I might rip this ribbing back out and knit it a little bit longer, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn because I also made this slightly larger in diameter. It's like 2 stitches more instead of the 36 you cast on. I cast on 38, and yeah, and they're in US 3s and 5s, which are 3.25 and 3.75 millimeters. And this is how much I've done on the second one. So this is just the ribbing and a little bit past it with the lightest color. So that's the first part of the second mitt, and then I still have the thumb to do on the first one, and this is where I'm housing all of the little yarn balls. So hopefully I will have enough yarn, but yeah, and that's in my Needle Runs Through It box bag with little owls on it. And that's all the knitting that I've done. So that means there's some pretty things to show, but it's actually not knitting stash acquisitions, but game stash acquisitions, I guess. So some of you may have heard of a game called Yoshi's Woolly World. If you've ever played I think, was it also for Wii U or is it just for Wii? There was Kirby's Epic Yarn, where they made a Kirby game into, or made a Kirby game out of yarn, or the animations were out of yarn and fabric and all these cute little things. I might have actually talked about it on the podcast a long time ago. So the same people helped make Yoshi's Woolly World, and that is this. So this is what we got, and it comes with, as you can see, the reflection of everything with a little Yoshi amiibo, and I'll show the other ones that we got. So the amiibos let you play in game with another extra Yoshi. So it's just a regular Yoshi game, but everything's made out of yarn, and you can kind of see on the back of the package too how all these little guys are knit and crocheted, and it's just really fun. It's a really fun Nintendo game for Wii U, and you can get these little amiibos that are just adorable. So these are the little guys, and they're so cute. They come separately. The bundle came with the green Yoshi, but you can buy the game separately, so you don't need to buy any amiibos, and they're not required to play the game, but they're just cute to have, and they're knit, so it's adorable. But they're so cute. So, and they also have a little, I thought this was cute, they have a little loop on the top, so you could hang them somewhere if you wanted to, like on your Christmas tree or something. So yeah, so they're so cute. Little knitted Yoshis. The regular amiibos that they make are just figures that are like plastic or resin, so they are not as cute as the little knitted ones, and not as related to knitting. So yeah, that is Pretty Things. Okay, so Local Delights. I don't think I've talked about this place before, but I thought I had, which is why I didn't talk about it last episode. But we went to this restaurant a few weeks ago. It's called Gather. It's in Berkeley on Oxford, from in between, I think it's in between Center and Berkeley Street, I think. Somewhere around there. It's really close to campus, and it's this really nice restaurant that's located in this, if you're familiar with LEED certification, it's a LEED certified building. It's basically a green building that has sustainable practices, and so the restaurant also kind of follows that too. They're into sustainable sourcing of their food. It's kind of has that farm to table feel almost, but it's a little more of a restaurant style than a farm to table style, if that makes sense. So the restaurant itself, the food was really good when we went there. The decor inside has this very like natural feeling because they have a lot of wood and plants, and yeah, that was great description, but it's really cute inside, and the food was really good too, and the service was really good, and yeah, it wasn't it's not too formal of a restaurant, but you could still like bring a date. And in fact, I think we saw a couple of people there on a date. But it's also family friendly, it seems like, but not as casual as some of, as like a typical family restaurant, I guess. But if you're looking for a nice place to eat dinner, I think they're open for lunch too, which would probably be not as formal. The Gather is a good place to go, and the cuisine is American, kind of like California food. So yeah, if you're in the area and looking for a place for lunch or dinner, Gather is a nice place next to campus to eat. More of a sit down place, but yeah, it's good. So that is Local Delights, and that would bring us to Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey. So I am super behind on Doctor Who. For some reason I thought if I had waited until this episode to talk about episodes 3 and 4 that would be okay, but yeah. So I I'm going to be talking about, oh, and there will be spoilers in about the episodes 3 and 4. So if you're not caught up, you can stop watching, or I'll put a little banner here, and when you see that go away, you can come back. But I'll say that they're spoilers. And yeah, so episodes 3 and 4 of season 9. Episode 3 was called Under the Lake, and the Doctor and Clara go take the TARDIS down to this underwater research station slash oil. I think they're looking for oil or some sort of energy source, because there's a business guy there that's trying to get their resources, or to get them to dig for resources. But anyway, so oops, I knocked the camera. So that episode, compared to the first two, it was pretty, I don't know, it was more refreshing to see kind of the monster of the week feel, rather than the world is ending, or the Doctor is ending, or everything is ending. So it was nice to have something a little bit different. It was terrifying also, though, because they're ghosts, and the ghosts were slowly taking each crew member one at a time and turning them into ghosts. And yeah, it was pretty scary. But it was an interesting episode. And it ended in a cliffhanger, which I wasn't expecting, and I think the next 2 episodes too. Episode 5 will end in a cliffhanger, and episode 6 will be the continuation of that, I think. So yeah, gosh, these cliffhangers, I don't know how I feel about them, because I think one or 2 cliffhangers a season is fine, but when you start having each episode being 2-part episodes, it seems like a lot. So I don't know, that's my thoughts on on cliffhangers. But yeah, the first episode was fine. It was a big setup, and yeah, so I'm pretty sure I didn't talk about this last time. I hope not. I might have actually. No, I don't think I did. Did I? I might have. I feel like I might have talked about this one already. But I'll have to check. If I did, then I will have to edit this out and talk about the next episode instead. So yeah, so the first episode of this 2-parter, which would be episode 3, ends with the cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger is that the Doctor, that Clara and the 2 other team crew members see the Doctor's ghost, and it ends there, and you're like, oh my god, the Doctor's dead, as Clara thinks as well. So, which you know he can't die because it's Doctor Who, so you wouldn't really have a show without him. But just seeing his ghost there, it's like, oh, how is he gonna get out of this one? So that's where episode 4 picks up, which is called Before the Flood, and the Doctor takes 2 of the other crew members back into time to see this area that they're in before it got flooded, and before they can put this underground or underwater station there. So so I did say that I liked the episode because it was more like a movie or monster of the week kind of thing, and you didn't have to worry about everything ending. But then you see that the Doctor might die, and that's kind of brings back the really epicness of the story. But I feel like the way they had the possibility of the Doctor's death was not as epic as or didn't have that like epic feel to it as some of the other episodes do. So it was still kind of that monster of the week feel, which was fun. And also in the beginning of episode 4, the Doctor addresses the audience, and I feel like he's probably done that before, and I don't know if he's done that in any of the classic series, because I haven't seen those yet. But it was kind of fun to see him turn to the camera. Well, in the beginning, turn to the camera and talk about what did he call it, the bootstrap paradox, where if you go back in time and find that something that you like hasn't been created, so you create it yourself, then you come back and it's as if nothing happened, so history is unaltered, but then who had the original thought to create that? So interesting thing that he brought up. But yeah, that was also a good episode. The monster was relatively scary, but not as scary as the ghost, I feel like, because he was very like costume heavy, and similar to some of the older episodes of Doctor Who with the low budget costumes, it wasn't as convincing as some of the other effects that they have for the scary stuff. So I guess that also kind of made you feel like the Doctor was going to be okay. But yeah, it was interesting to see him go back and try and not alter his time stream, but also alter his time stream. And the monster totally called him out on that too. He was like, you Time Lords value only time and think that you can't change it. And yeah, so I wonder if they'll bring that theme. It seems like they would bring that theme back more and more, about how Time Lords are maybe not as great as we think they are. So yeah, so that was kind of all I have for the episodes. Still have to catch up on the other two, and then by the time I record next time, there's going to be 2 more. So I don't know how I'm going to split up. I guess I can just push it out until and then by then there won't be any spoilers because everyone will have already seen it. So yeah, that is all I have for Doctor Who. If you have any thoughts, feel free to share in the episode thread. Yeah, we should have some sort of like Doctor Who thing. I don't know, I'll have to brainstorm on something. But yeah, that is pretty much for Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey. And I think that's all that I have to talk about this time. So thank you guys for watching. Social media stuff, I'm Eliana Knits on Ravelry. I'm Unperfect529 on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, everything else. And yeah, don't forget you can join the group on Ravelry, Knits and Stuff Podcast, and show notes are at knitsandstuff.wordpress.com. And that is all I have for you guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye!